So like I wrote this chord progression recently on a song that's not out yet, where I wanted to capture like an unveiling, because the idea was like the song is talking about how good it is to be in like the presence of God, and so there's this instrumental section after that, and I wanted to kind of sort of display the presence of God in a sense in the music and sort of unveil it.
Good luck.
And so what I ended up playing, and this is like I said, my home is an improv, so I'm not like consciously thinking of a lot of these things. I kind of figure out what I did afterwards. Mm-hmm. But I started playing this chord progression that let me see if I can actually play it. I don't remember what key it's in. I think it's in A flat. Yeah. So I'm holding this G. I wanted to hold that throughout the whole chord progression. So every chord is going to have that G in it. And so it feels like this circular thing that doesn't really have an ending.
It's circular, but I'm on edge, man.
Yeah. Because every chord like feels like it's going to the next chord and adds a little bit more tension, but it never actually arrives anywhere. And then instrumentally, what I did to like increase that tension even more with the instruments that are playing, it's like a bunch of synths, and like all of the cutoff filters are like steadily opening. So it's building and building and building and building and building.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like I can get a pretty clear picture of kind of what your mental model, what your like idea of God is based on the music that you've always made surrounding like what does his presence feel like. It's like I feel like you just try to make it as epic and powerful as possible, and that's kind of your sense of who God is.
Yeah,
it's core. It's just power.
Yeah, I don't feel like, and I think that's more me trying to like fill a void that I'm seeing in music more than
like a complete picture.
Yeah, like I feel like most of my experience with God has been quiet. I actually ask him more than anything to have a deeper experience of like his power and his glory on that side of him. But from a musical perspective, particularly in Christian music, I don't think we dive into that really. I don't think we dive.
I was talking about love in like the most generic way possible. Come
on. So I kind of want to dive into that gloriousness. I kind of want to dive into the otherness too, like that God is not like you.
Yeah.
Even though like there's a sense in which he is because you're made in his image, like he's not just some guy on the street. Like
yeah, and he's also not like comfortable. Like you're like an encounter with God is not always going to be comfortable. If it is, then maybe you're like you're really
you might be worshiping your feelings.
Yeah, right. It's like I don't know how to phrase it the best way possible, but
yeah. So
it's not correct.
I'm always looking to like kind of poke at that. And then in that particular chord progression, I wanted to also get this feeling of this thing is infinite and it doesn't end. So every chord like kind of goes to the next chord, and it doesn't feel like it really ends. And when I was playing it, I didn't like, I was trying to figure out like, how am I, like, what chord am I going to end this on? Because it doesn't feel like it ends. And then as I was
just smash the keyboard at the end. The song is over.
And so like when the song ends, I feel like the ending, it feels a little bit unnatural. I'm probably gonna have to like.
That's always annoying when a song ends on an off chord. I see.
I'm probably gonna have to like fix that in the next song. Like it'll probably have to lead into something there.
Oh yeah, that works.
But I think that's an interesting concept to like try to dive at these other aspects of God that we're not typically seeing in music.
Yeah.
I think that probably comes more than anything from my film scoring background.
You're very
like
good
thinking
at
about
film scoring and orchestral stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know if you're doing that anymore, but I think I was most impressed skill-wise when you would make something of that like, nature.
I think on this new album that I'm working on, I'm gonna dive back into that a little bit. I like poked at it in colors towards the end. But I think the way that I'm thinking about music is back in that vein a little bit. It's also very like techno. Like I'm getting very, very into dance music.
Nice. I'm just going straight into funk.
Oh, really?
I'm having a great time though.
I would love to hear a funk album from you.
No, I'm just like trying to learn. I'm trying to learn Dean Town, like the one bass part for from a Wolfpack song. It's just way too fast for me. I'm having fun.